So in that case, it makes it says not and the modal verb make an auxiliary constituent. So this is a new type of constituent, okay? Which is the auxiliary constituent. So not would make constituency with the modal in this case. Cannot, will not, okay? The case of be, for example, makes constituency with the verb be, is not. All right? And then we have do, the auxiliary do that we all know, do, that indicates the tense of the sentence. We say do not, did not, for example, indicate the tense of the original sentence. Says, and the verb itself will be in its base form. So far, so good, right? When you have do, the auxiliary do, the verb is in the base form, is in infinitive form. Says do acts like a modal, and the verb acts just like it if it followed a modal. In that case, do holds the tense. Questions? No questions? Remember that you don't get points. You don't get points for questions. So if you have no questions, pretty clear.
This is on chapter 5.
This is all on chapter 5.
All right.
Okay. So in summary here, not is a particle, is a negative particle, and make constituency with the modal, with the verb, depending, or with the auxiliary do. We will talk about do later on. Do is what we call dummy. We call the dummy do. Okay, because it has no, it only has function, but it doesn't have content. It's not the real modal. You see, it even has no meaning, and that's why our students have problems when translating. They try to translate because Spanish doesn't use it, but English does. You see, and that's why I say, and what is do? How do I translate do? It's like, well, there has no translation. It's difficult for us to explain kids, for example, because remember that kids rely on translation a lot. The same thing will happen to you if you are going to learn German. You will rely on translation. All right. So no questions, no comments.
Professor, sorry, yes. Mayra, you say that not is negative, yes?
It's a particle.
But yeah, it's and no is a pre-article too.
No, but that is different. That is different because here, when you say no kid or no student should do this, you see that no is making constituent with the noun. These ones make constituent, this particle makes constituent with the verb or the main verb phrase. But that is a great question. Great question, Mayra.
Because
very good question. Very good question. Do not confuse this not with the pre-article no. All right?
Yes, yes, that's it.
Very good, very good. Okay. Something that we will do as well is to rearrange the sentences, to change the sentences, and then now we're going to start working with the new mood. Actually, so far there are 4 moods. What are the 4 moods? Let me ask here. Edwin, what are the 4 moods? Now,
here I am.
There are 4 moods, right?
You said the present, past.
Moods. No, moods. No, that is something that is tense.
I think
infinitive.
That is form, verb form.
I get confused again with that.
Mood, modality. It was what?
indicative,
indicative,
conditional,
conditional,
Interrogative.
interrogative, and imperative. So far, very good. So far, we have only seen what?
Conditional.
Indicative and conditional. That's all that we have seen. Now we are getting into the new mood. The new mood is interrogative.
Indicative is not like infinitive, Professor? No?
No, infinitive is a form, a verb form.
The verb only.
It's verb form, indicative. Okay. So remember that the core sentences are all statements. What are the core sentences? The formula. Do you remember? The formulas. All the formulas that we have seen so far are based on statements. So those sentences stay in their natural order. The natural order of a sentence is subject and verb predicate, right? That is the natural order of any sentence. If you have that, if you're clear on that, then you should have no problem. So the two most common question sentences are called yes/no questions and WH questions. So far, so great, right? Now, so far we have seen the MVP, the main verb phrase, together as a statement, you see, in the same position. But what happens when you make a yes/no question? What you do is what? You disjoin the main verb phrase, right? You take part of the main verb phrase and you put it at the beginning of the sentence, right? Because for example, if I say you are a student, you see are is the main verb phrase. Then to make it a yes/no question, I have to take that verb, put it at the beginning of the sentence and say, are you a student? So you see, now we have the verb phrase, subject, and then the predicate noun. Get it? So you say, but that is not the order that we had it, right? Just remember that you can always rearrange the sentence. And everything should go where it belongs. Says you also add interrogative to the status of the main verb to indicate that the sentence is a question. In this case, if I say you are a student, what is the status of the verb? You are a student.
Present.
What is the status? No. Status.
Present.
Present.
Present. So, but if I say, are you a student? What is the status of the verb?
Interrogative.
Interrogative.
Present interrogative. Present interrogative. Remember, we have like present condition, and now we have present interrogative. So it's the same thing. You add the modality, the mood after the tense. Present interrogative. We never say present indicative, for example, right? We just say present because we don't indicate indicative, right? So this junction or movement does not change any functional relationship. Direct objects are direct objects. Noun phrase subjects are noun phrase subjects. The main verb is the main verb. Adverb phrases are adverb phrases. Nothing changes.
Professor, it's almost the same structure, just taking in consideration that the sentences are going to be formulated by questions.
That you disjoin, because to make interrogative sentences, you somehow alter the main verb phrase.
Identify only the mood.
The mood is part of the main verb phrase. You see, we make questions adding or disjoining the main verb phrase.
Is
Oh, but that is not.
No, you
but
put
that is not
example.
a.
You
That
are
is
a
not a
student.
question.
Are you a student?
Oh no, you are not a student. Okay, you're
Then
not
you
a
say that
student.
is
What about
a
you're not a
negative.
student?
Yeah, of course.
That is a
Then we say
statement.
that is a negative. Negative.
No, because with the word not, you are marking that it's not. It's
And
not
if
changing
we
the
make
mood.
it like aren't you?
Because the mood is
Like a tag
indicative.
question, aren't you?
Oh,
It's
that
in
question is
simple.
something else.
It's simple sentence.
Do not confuse mood with other things. All right. The mood is indicative. The mood is conditional. The mood is interrogative, and the mood is imperative.
Okay.
Those are the four moods. If you say you are not a student, you are indicative. But what I'm saying is that we make questions in English modifying or disjoining the main verb phrase of a sentence, all right? Okay. Now, WH question sentences. WH question, I remember that you guys were asking about this last class. They say they generally query a content phrase, all right? Something with content, a what, a who, a where, right? Generally a noun phrase or an adverb. Because if I say what type of content does this phrase have? Answer. If I say what part of speech? What? If I say what might come? What part of speech?
Noun phrase.
A noun. Usually, what? A dog. What? My life. What? Grammar. So a noun phrase. If I say who, what part of speech will come?
It's a noun too, right?
Another noun, right? Miguel, Edwin, Jairo, Cirilo, right? If I say where, what do I get?
Preposition.
Adverb.
Adverbs, right? Adverbs, prepositional phrases, like in the classroom. You see? So they replace parts of speech. Or sometimes they also create just determinants, as we will see. For example, the first one says noun phrases are replaced with an interrogative pronoun. What, who, or whom. Why? Because if I say, who called me? Who called me? What replaces who? Who called me? And I say, Edgar called me. Who called me? Edgar called me. So Edgar is
Noun,
what?
proper noun.
It's a pronoun. It's an interrogative pronoun. Because that who is replacing someone. I said, what did you do? What? They say, I did this. Pronoun. See? So this, I did the homework. You see? So it's replacing the homework, which is a noun phrase. All right? So when you have it like that, it's interrogative pronoun. We also have interrogative pro-adverb. I was talking about pro-adverbs before. A pro-adverb is something that replaces, it could be a noun or whatever, that replaces a whole sentence or a whole adverb. For example, adverb phrases are replaced with interrogative pro-adverbs. Where, when, why, how often. For example, like, where did you go? Where did you go? You say, I went to the supermarket. So that word replaces the supermarket. To the supermarket, and that is a That's a what? Prepositional phrase functioning as an adverb of place. When did you go? I went this morning. When replaces this morning, which is another adverb of time. Why did you go? I went because I had to buy groceries. So because I had to buy groceries, it's a clause, right? That is what? That clause in that case functions as what? As an adverb of reason. Right? How did you go? Well, I went with my car. I don't know if I can say that. Right? I went by bus. Better, right?
Foot.
By car. I went by bus. By bus is an instrument, adverb of instrument. How often did you go? No, how do you go? I go every Saturday. You see, they are all adverbs. And you know that because adverbs are the ones that answer where, when, why, how, and how often. So they are interrogative pro adverbs. Finally, we have the interrogative pro determiner. So in this case, it replaces determiners, okay? Usually genitives. If I say, whose test is this? Whose test is this? How you arrange this? This is Saul's test. See? So whose replaces what? The genitive noun, Saul's. Whose test is this? This is Saul's test. Genitive noun. So, and a genitive noun in this case is a determiner, right? That's what we're saying. Which car is that? That is her car. Which car did you buy? I bought one. That case is different. Which, because you have to be careful with what is it replaced by. Say like, which car is that? That is Victor's car. Okay. What? What car did you buy? I bought that car. See? So if you answer the question, you might get a pronoun, you might get an adverb, or you might get a determiner.
So, Professor Victor,
Questions?
so the what is acting like an interrogative prodeterminer and interrogative pronoun. Which is the difference between we, what, and what?
The context. You answer the question. You answer the question. All right? Because if I say, what did you do? What did you do? It's different. Right? If I say, what did you do? I say, I did the test. I took the test. And that is a noun. So it's a pronoun, interrogative pronoun. I did that. So you say, what did you do? I did that. That is the direct object. But if it replaces a determiner, right? So like, what car did you drive? I drove that car. That is a determiner. Get it? So the what replaces only the word that, the determiner that. It's not replacing a noun. In fact, you have what car. What car. You're not replacing car. The car is there. Get it? But if I say, what did you do? Yeah, I'm replacing the whole noun. Questions? No questions. Now let's go to passive sentences. Remember that you can read all this in the, it is in the book, okay? Passive sentences can only be made from transitive verbs. We have 3 types of transitive verbs, right? We have what?
BT, BG,
Uh-huh.
BC.
Okay. Now, you remember at the beginning of the class, I told you that we have to learn it wrong to learn it right.
Yeah,
Well,
monotransitive,
exactly.
ditransitive, and complex transitive.
Very good. Now, that is what I want you to use because, as I said before, that VG give, and VC consider at the beginning when you are starting this is very useful, you see, as a mnemotechnic device. But I think that now you're ready. Now you're ready, right? To open your eyes and understand that VG does not exist. VG is a verb that Morenberg coined as a mnemotechnic device. So we have VDs. We have 3 types of transitive. We have monotransitive, ditransitive, and complex transitive. All right?
Why don't link them like saying mono, die, and com? That's it.
Yeah,
It's the same.
I'm gonna tell you why. And let me stop sharing here. I'm gonna tell you why. Let me do something. Hold on.
Since we know they are transitive, we can call them like this is mono, this is die, and this
exactly.
is
No, and that's exactly what I want you to do. But hold on, let me, because now you're ready. Now all of you are ready. You see, if you took the first test, you're fine. If you succeeded, by the way, in the first test, you're fine.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Okay. Hold on. Let me see. What are you? Here. Okay. Can you see? This is the first chapter. You see, we're back. Chapter 1. Remember the verbs. The first verb is fine. There are no change. We totally agree. Noun phrase, verb intransitive, adverb. Linking verbs, well, we have no problem. Now considering that B is linking verb. But the only difference is that B, we will see B, you add what? A prepositional phrase, right? So we have no problem. But then here we have the transitive verbs. So this is the first formula. Perfect. No problem with the first formula. Which is, now we go to the 2-place transitive. Here is when we start having problems with the VG. And then I told you, in fact, this is a ditransitive verb, but not the 2. Okay? So VG is only this one. So this one here is not a VG. I'm sorry, VG, transitive. So this is the only formula for, if you want to say, now you can write that down or take pictures or whatever, all right? But this now, oh, what happened here? Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna write it down. Noun phrase, subject, VD, indirect object. Now, this is the formula for ditransitive verbs. Now forget about VGs. This is a ditransitive verb. The only one. The other one is not ditransitive. All right? The other one, the rearrangement is to test for ditransitivity. If the indirect object appears at the beginning, you always have a ditransitive verb. So, in short, you have noun phrase subject, the intransitive verb, The first noun phrase, indirect object, and the second noun phrase, direct object. That's it. That's it. That is the only formula for the intransitive verb. If the indirect object is not the beginning, then it is not an indirect object. Indirect objects always, always, always appear right after the verb. Got it? Questions?
Yes, of course. I got an interesting question. So, how do we deal when a situation when we have the opposite? I mean, the direct.
Yeah. Perfect. Now we will see it, which is the other one. In fact, these are the only two that.
Include the prepositions 2 and 4 in our examples.
Okay, perfect. So this is a VD. And now VC, in fact, as Morenberg talks about it, is VC is like, in fact, this is a coincidence that C is considered and C is complex. It's a nice comp. But that's why, you see, according to Morenberg, VC verbs, which is his VCs, only take what? Noun phrases, adjective phrases, and infinitive phrases. Remember? This is from the book, and here in parentheses, I added prepositional phrase. Remember? Why? Because now we will forget about that VC considered, and now we will start looking at it as complex transitive. Now, complex transitive includes noun phrase, adjective phrase, infinitive phrase, and prepositional phrase. All right? Do you remember here, this formula? I think it was here. No, or was it here? Do you remember the original formula?
Yes. BC?
Yeah. Oh, something happened here. Well, whatever. So BC, you have the way that is rearranged. Now I can, hold on, I need to close this. Hold on.
So those formulas that you are writing down appears on the chapter 5 or no?
Oh, no. I'm just making clarifications, not to leave things out. You see, what I'm trying to say is that it's only ditransitive when the indirect object, because you see, Morenberg doesn't talk about ditransitive verbs. But now we have to know that ditransitive verb is only when you have the indirect object and the direct object. When you change the positions, what you have is a complex transitive. Because remember that Morenberg in the formula, he leaves two away from the noun phrase. And they will attract themselves. The two will attract the noun phrase together, and they will make a prepositional phrase. Besides, that noun phrase there is not the indirect object anymore. Why not? Because the indirect object is not next to the verb. Get it?
So
Sorry,
that
but I don't get it.
so that in that case it will take probably an adverb function or a prepositional or another function.
Exactly, it's a complex transitive.
All right. Got it.
Hold on, let me see. Hope I didn't screw it. Okay, here. Hold on. Hold your horses. Here. Okay, here. You see, this is the VG formula from Morenberg, right? So you see, and I say, if you're going to talk about ditransitive verbs, you only talk about this one. Why? Because ditransitive verbs have indirect object. The only ones that include the indirect object is the ditransitive verb. All right? Complex transitive do not have indirect object. Monotransitive do not have indirect object. So the only ones that have indirect object are the ditransitive verbs. Get it?
Professor,
This
what
test,
happens if we have
this test is when you want, this is a test more than anything else. That if you want to see if the verb is ditransitive, if the verb is ditransitive, you change it here. But in fact, what you're doing is that you're changing this sentence to a complex transitive. Why? Because you have a direct object and then you have a prepositional phrase. You see, to plus noun phrase. To plus noun phrase is a prepositional phrase. For plus noun phrase is a prepositional phrase that complement this one. Something else. The indirect object is never in this position. The indirect object is always in this position. So this is a test for the purposes of a test. We will, if you want to keep using VG and VC, you're fine. I just want to make this very clear. All right, questions?
Yeah, I got a question. So in this case, if I say I got something for you, so how's that gonna be?
I have what? Something.
Direct
For you.
object.
Something. Can you say something is had? Weird, right?
Yeah.
So can I delete for you and they say I have something? Can you say that? I have something. Hey, I have something.
Maybe not.
And then this is the debate that was, is that for you important in your sentence? If it is important, then you have yourself a complex transitive because for you complements the something. This is syntax. Now we are talking about syntax. All right?
Okay. So in that particular case, that will be this object complement prepositional phrase.
Subject complement. It's not subject complement.
Sorry,
It's
object complement.
Object complement. Yeah, the prepositional phrase is the object complement. All right. It's the same thing that you've done. Now let's talk about passives. I just want to make this clear. All right. I'm clarifying things because now you are major leagues. All right. Okay. Only passive sentences can be made. Transitive sentences can be made to passive. When I talk about transitive verbs, I'm talking about monotransitive, I'm talking about ditransitive, and I'm talking about complex transitive. All right? So how do we make a passive? We all know how to make a passive sentence, right? Taking the core object and moving it to the front of the verb. Says, this is straight from the book. Then you put the core subject into a prepositional phrase headed by a preposition by. Finally, you change the core verb into its past participial form and add be to the auxiliary constituent. This is what you know. If you are here listening to me, is because you know how to make passive sentences. Okay. Now, we are introducing something new. It says, when the core object noun phrase sits in the slot before the verb in the passive is what we call a grammatical subject. Okay? For example, give me a sentence in active voice. Give me a sentence in active voice. Remember that has to be transitive. Let me ask. Hold on.
Like, she eats apple? I don't know.
Anyone.
She eats apple?
She eats apple.
Yeah.
Apples. Okay, let's say Oliver eats apples. Right? So change that sentence and then, okay, let me write that down. And then I say, Oliver eats apples. All right? So which one is the subject?
Oliver.
Oliver is the subject. But when I change the sentence to passive, I say what? Apples
Apples are
Apple
eaten
are
by
eaten
eaten
Oliver.
by Oliver. So this sentence is a regular sentence. In fact, this sentence is a statement, and statements present the subject at the beginning, right? So which one is the subject of this sentence? Oliver or apples?
Oh, well, that's a good question. It should be Oliver, right?
No, because
Apples.
Oliver, you have
No,
Oliver
it's
here.
apple.
Look, yeah, you have Oliver and a prepositional phrase.
Okay. In
You
this
see?
case, Oliver becomes the object, right? Oliver.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
You see, now Oliver in here, the noun phrase subject became a preposition, the object of the preposition by. See? So which one is the noun phrase subject?
Apples.
Apples. Apples. But these apples is what we call grammatical subject. And Oliver is what we call the logical subject. Get it? Why grammatical? Because it is in the position, in the grammatical position of the subject. So apples, what apples here is the direct object, is sitting here, and that is grammatically speaking, this is the what? The subject, because it's sitting in the subject position. But
Repeat that.
when you are rearrange the sentence, you understand that Oliver is the logical subject of the active sentence. In fact, you can do this. Can you? Apples are eaten.
Yes.
I can delete this the agent, and this is a regular sentence. Apples are eaten. And when you read that sentence, apples are eaten. This is a
You
passive.
expect like
In a passive form. You get it?
Not completely, but we are trying.
Yeah. Remember, when you start practicing is when you start getting it. Okay, so what we have here, the object, the direct object of the original sentence becomes the grammatical subject. All right? This is what I explained here. Oliver is the subject in the active sentence. In the passive sentence, apples is the grammatical subject, but Oliver is the logical subject. So the core subject, now the object of a preposition, is called the logical subject, like by
Professor,
Oliver.
logical means that that's the one that does the action, right?
In the active sentence. But remember that you just know that that agent is active in the active form because it's showing a relationship. Get it? Because that by phrase, which by the way is an adverb, what information is giving you? Who is eating the apples? See? This is what we call that by Oliver is a prepositional phrase functioning as adverb of agency. Because this is what the logical subject is, the agent, is the one that does the action. All right?
Professor, what happens if we active sentence?
If we what?
Oliver is as an active sentence. Is gonna be Oliver the grammatical subject in this case?
No. If the sentence is okay.
If we see it
If the
in
sentence
active,
is active, is the way that we have been doing it so far. So far, we have parsed only active sentences.
so
Get it?
it's gonna be the subject.
So far, what we have done is to parse active sentence. Now we are going to include a passive voice. All right. So at the same time, At the same time that it functions as a logical subject, the noun phrase that was moved into the prepositional phrase also functions as the object of a preposition. So now you say, this is the logical subject, this is the object of a preposition, but at the same time is the logical subject by Oliver. By Oliver is two things now. The object of the preposition by Oliver, and it's also the logical subject.
Okay.
The by prepositional phrase itself functions as an adverb of agency. And the passive is the only construction in English that contains be followed by past participle. So whenever you have the verb be plus a past participle form of the verb, you see Edwin is a form. Like infinitive. Infinitive is a form. Like present participle is a form. Like past form is a form, all right? So passive is the only construction in English that has be with the past participle form of the verb. Questions?
So in these passive constructions, the by is always going to be having a function as adverb of agency.
Yes.
So that is going to be always.
Yes, and remember that you can eliminate adverbs, right?
Yeah.
And you can eliminate the adverb of agency. Like apples are eaten, right? Okay. Now here it. Deleting the by from a passive. The by phrase can be deleted if the information in the by phrase is general knowledge. And you can always rearrange the sentences to check if it is passive or not. All right? So this is the test. Rearrange the sentence. That is the test. If you are not sure if it is passive or active, well, change it to active. Back in the day, you were testing transitive verbs because you could what? Make them passive. Now, you need to check, you need to test a passive form, changing it back to active form. All right? Questions? No questions. Good. Past participles and adjectives. Here we might have a situation, and that's why you have to test it. And here's when we get ambiguity. Juan's favorite word, right, Juan?
Sure.
Says a passive.
Sure it is.
A passive with a deleted agent can look like a core sentence that has be as the main verb followed by a predicate adjective. It says this is because past participles and adjectives can look alike. You see, like Louis is frustrated. And then if you look at this sentence, Juan, you don't know if frustrated is an adjective or frustrated is the past participle form of the verb. See? Because if I say that Louis is an adjective and say Louis is frustrated, so you have be or linking verb plus an adjective phrase functioning as predicate adjective, right? In that case, is the main verb. But we can always read that I say Louis is frustrated by Clark Kent. That is the example in the book, right? Louis is frustrated by Clark Kent. In that case, what is the main verb? It's not be, it's frustrate is the main verb, right? How do I know? Well, change it back to active. How do I change that sentence back to active? Louis is frustrated by Clark Kent.
Clark Kent frustrated Louis.
Frustrates.
Clark Kent frustrates Louis. You see? And they say, oh, there you. So this sentence is ambiguous.
Yeah, Professor. So you said, I think it was in the first or second chapter that we can test adjective by adding sometimes the very.
Very
So
good.
like
Excellent.
Luis is very frustrated.
There
That's
you have
another.
exactly.
All right.
Exactly. But as I said before, this is ambiguous. This has two readings. I have two parsings. In the first one, is the main verb and frustrated is the predicate adjective. In the second one, is frustrated makes the MVP. All right? And it's intransitive verb. All right? Okay. Something else. Usually we have be as the passive auxiliary, but in English we can find the verb get as the passive auxiliary. Okay? She's getting frustrated. You could say that. She gets frustrated. By so much information. All right. So, and semantically speaking, according to Morenberg, the get suggests a sense of becoming more strongly than being. Say, I'm like that one. You could change be instead of get. So, whenever you get plus past participle form of the verb, you might consider it very seriously as a what? As a passive voice. How can you test it? Well, change it back to active. Questions? Questions?
It looks like confusing, Professor. Let's see when we parse if we see different.
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading my WhatsApp. Sorry. Uh, um, yes, whenever right now it could be overwhelming, right? But believe me, you will get it. Okay, status and passive says when you identify the status of the main verb of a passive sentence, you normally state that it's passive as the final comment. Past, well, past, passive. Present conditional, passive. All right. Present progressive, passive, for example. All right. Now the other one, existential their sentences. You guys remember what we talk about the grammatical subject and the logical subject, right? Well, again, in their sentences, we find them. We find two subjects. We have the grammatical subject and the logical subject. In a sentence like, there are several restaurants in the new mall, which one is the subject?
There.
There is the subject because it's before the verb, and subjects go before the verb. So you say, oh, this is the grammatical subject. But if you rearrange that sentence, you would say, it will have the second reading. Several restaurants. Oh, the thing is, several restaurants are in the new mall. Which one here is the subject now? Several restaurants are in the new mall.
Several
No,
restaurants.
the
Several
subject.
restaurants.
Several restaurants. It's to the left of the verb. It sits in the subject position. So you have two sentences with the same meaning, but in the first one, there is the grammatical subject, and several restaurants is the regular subject in the regular sentence. But I understand what Edwin meant. That several restaurants is the logical subject. All right.
Mhm.
Why? Because there is what we call an expletive. Let's finish here. When a core sentence contains the verb be followed by an adverb of place, you can sometimes add there and rearrange the constituents to produce a new sentence called an existential there sentence. This is how we call it, existential there sentence. The constituent in the original subject position there is called the grammatical subject, while the original core subject is called the logical subject. The same thing that we discussed with passives, right? So the grammatical subject always sits where? In the slot that belongs to the subject in the regular sentence. The logical subject is the subject that performs that action. All right? Get it? So in here, there is grammatical subject are restaurants is what? The 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 the, the,
The logical.
the logical subject, exactly. And here, several restaurants is different. Several restaurants is the subject. And and it is the grammatical subject. But you would call it subject because it's inactive. Now we're going to introduce this new one, which is expletives. Expletive is what I was telling you. Is what we call dummy. Dummy. Expletives are dummy because they mean nothing. They have no meaning.
You spell that?
They only. What's that?
Can you spell that?
Expletive?
No. Spell it. Dummy.
Oh, I think it's somewhere here. Dummy, like here. Dummy
I think
subject.
it's
You see?
Dummy.
Yeah, right here. You see here?
Mm.
Oh, yes, it's there.
Dummy is tonto. Like you dummy, right? When your mother calls you, or your girlfriend, whatever, right? Or English for Dummies. Have you seen that book? Everything for Dummies. Okay, so they have expletives. They have grammatical function, but they have no meaning. Because what is the translation of there? You see, like there has no translation. In English, you could say, oh, there. How do you translate there? If I ask you, translate there, you can't. You can translate there are and there is. And say, like, okay, there are and there is are equivalent in Spanish to I.
At least it is in the end. At the end means like ayan, right?
Oh, yeah, in that position, but and not in the subject position.
Sorry.
Oh, it's semantics. There you will see the ocean. You see, in that case, there is an adverb. Because the sentence in the regular position is you will see the ocean there. You see, this is how we rearrange sentences. So there replaces a noun. You see, there has no meaning, but it has an important function. It replaces the noun. Imagine. And fills
when we say like
the noun phrase slot. Yes.
when we say like there you go, there we have our
Oh, but those are
things like that.
different. You don't parse because those are expressions. You don't parse expressions.
Okay.
Like you said, peló el bollo. How can you parse pelar el bollo? It has meaning. But we understand what pelar el bollo is, right? In that case, we don't analyze expression. That's not grammar. But you see, the expletive, you say, oh, it's dummy, but it's not that dummy because it has an important function, which is to replace the noun phrase subject. Imagine. Do and eat in certain circumstances can be expletive as well. When I say I do not know I do not know. Know is the verb. And you need the do just to make constituency with the negative word not. You see? But do has no translation. Think about it. How do you translate that do in that position? Do you want to be my friend? That do has no translation, but has a function, an important function. Makes the sentence in the interrogative mood and carries the tense. Because it said, did you want to be my friend? Now the change it's the same sentence. So you see, do is not that dummy. It has no meaning, but it has a very important grammatical function. The same happens with it. When I say, hey, it is 3 p.m. It is not replacing anything. It's not replacing the hour because you don't say the hour is 3 p.m. The time is 3 p.m. You don't speak like that. You say, hey, it is hot today. That it has no meaning, has no translation. Got it? And when the subject is dummy, that's imperative. I added this here. This is something extra. I just wanted to. That's why I had the asterisk
So,
here.
so
Okay?
Professor, if I say like look for it, so in that case, it
Oh,
taking function. I mean,
no,
that's another thing.
no. Of course,
Yeah.
it is replacing what? Look for it. For it. For what is that? For it is what? It's a prepositional phrase. It is replacing a noun.
Yeah.
Exactly, the object of a preposition. So in that case, it is look for the book. The things like you and I know what is it. All right. Questions?
Professor.
Okay.
Yes.
So there always will be expletive.
Expletive. Expletive.
And some case,
there could also, but hold on. There could also be an adverb. Like in the example that we gave. It's just their existential. Well, okay, I'm gonna give it, okay, I'm gonna put it this way. Como cuando decimos hay en español. Hay mucha gente. No ahí no. Hay. Get it?
yes.
It's going to depend also of the position, Professor. The position and if there is there are and there is going to function as a verb, I. So also can function as adverb. And in this part, you are explaining about this expletive. That is sometimes it's going to be at the beginning of the sentence. Alone.
Exactly. Look at this sentence right now. There you can see the ocean. Where is the subject?
You.
You is the subject. It's not there.
There is expletive.
No, in this case, it's not an expletive.
It's the adverb.
It's an adverb because this is not the subject. This one is not the subject. The real subject is you. How do you know it's you? Because you can change this one and you can move it here.
I was about to say that, Professor.
And then you say, you can see the ocean there.
It's an adverb.
And there replaces, this is a proadverb, and there replaces a prepositional phrase. For example, if I say, you can see the ocean in that corner. See?
You can see the ocean in front of you.
Through that window. You see? In that case, there is not an expletive. There is it's an adverb. Questions?
Question. Then when there is at the beginning, for parsing purposes, then we have to identify it.
I didn't say you need. because in the example that I just gave you, there is at the beginning. There you can see the
Yeah,
but then you have to have the combination there plus
okay.
B.
Got it.
Now, if you have there plus B, so okay,
Okay.
this is different.
Thank you.
Right? Okay.
Can you make an example that have a expletive, professor, please?
You mean another example?
Yeah.
With expletive.
To be sure, yes.
Okay, but just give me a there is there are sentence. Give me any there is there are sentence. Give me any there is there are sentence.
There are orange on the market.
There are oranges on the market. Okay. There are oranges in the market. Right? So the real sentence, because there you say there sits here in the position of the subject, but in a regular sentence you say oranges are in the market. So there, these two sentences have the same meaning. There here is the grammatical subject, and oranges is the logical subject. All right? Yes?
So in that case, not expletives.
No, in this case, it's an expletive.
Oh my
because
God.
this is the subject, the grammatical subject. But it's an expletive. You say expletive because it has no meaning. It is just there to do something, to create that existential form. Get it? But that is the subject. It's not the logical subject. It's the grammatical subject. Okay. Imperative sentences. Imperative sentences are very straightforward, right? Are commands or instructions. You is always the omitted, the understood subject. It's always you. It cannot be she. It cannot be we. It cannot be I. It's always you. It's like, finish the assignment. You finish the assignment. Come here. You come here. I cannot say, hey, she, come here. I cannot say that, right? So you is always the understood subject. And this is the explanation that you will get. But you have to be careful because apparently it's not only you that is understood. This always the modal will. The modal will is always and in the in the imperative sentence. How do we test it? Well, when we how do you make this sentence a tag question? How do you make imperative sentences tag? You use the auxiliary will, and then you say, turn in the paper before class, won't you? You don't say, are you? Can you? You would say, won't you? So that's why will is also understood. Both you and will are understood in the imperative sentence. Questions? No questions. It says imperative sentences lack tense. They don't have a tense. So the status is simply imperative. Very easy. Now it's not present, it's not past. It's just imperative, which is not a tense. Imperative is not a tense. Simply, they don't have tense. Even though they have the will, they have no tense. Okay? Those are dummy. You see, the main verb of an imperative has no tense. Say, do it, drink it, has no tense. And then since you delete the modal will from an imperative sentence, you also delete the tense as well. And the verb of an imperative sentence, this is important, is always in the infinitive form. And then to make it negative, we insert the expletive, do, to introduce the particle not. So like, do not drink it. All right? Questions? No question. Now let's go to compounding structures. Okay? Compound is to join, to put them together in one constituent, right? And then we use, for that, we use connective words called conjunctions. I think it was Samuel talking about conjunctions this morning, right? And then there are punctuation rules. So if you compound more than two constituents, you usually need commas as well, right? If I say Oliver, Leo, and Jasmina, you see Oliver, comma, Leo, comma, and Jasmina, I use commas, but that is punctuation. So compound words and phrases together make constituents that can function wherever and however single words or phrases can function. So it is the same thing, right? Oh, questions? No questions. Now, we are going to see two different types of conjunctions. We have the coordinate conjunctions and the correlative conjunctions. The coordinate conjunctions are the ones that we know, and, but, and or. Very straightforward, right? No problem. We might have more problems is with the correlative conjunctions because those are pairs, but it's one. You have both and. If you use both, you have to use and. If you use either, you have to use or. If you use neither, you have to use nor. If you have not only, but also, then you have to use but also, right? So in that case, those are what we call correlative conjunctions. Coordinate conjunctions and correlative conjunctions. Correlative conjunctions are more emphatic than coordinate conjunctions because the first form, the pair, it has to be formed because the first of, sorry, the first of the pair.
The first
weird. The first pair should be right.
No, the first of the pair.
Yeah, the first of the pair. Yeah, the first demands that you anticipate coordinated word or phrase because you say like both Alcibiades, I have to anticipate, and Guillermo have to text me later. You see? So it's not that simple. Say if I say Alcibiades and Guillermo, no problem. I say both Alcibiades and Guillermo. See? A conjunction always attaches to the constituent to its right. So in that is a conjunction. If I say, for example, if I say, let me see. If I say Mariela, comma, Pedro, comma, and Gisca are good students. See? The three of them are the noun phrase subject. All right? But then you have noun, a proper noun. So have noun, proper noun, proper noun, proper noun, and the conjunction. Well, the conjunction makes constituency with this one. with the last one to the right. You say you have here a noun phrase. You will see that whenever I explain it. Noun phrase, and then Angiska makes another noun phrase here, okay? Which is then connected to the one before. All right? Questions? No questions.
Professor, regarding the ones that you mentioned, for example, neither or either, that they are combined by nor or, so they are in the same. I mean, they
The
go
same.
with the one at the right. Okay.
But let's analyze that. Give me a sentence with neither and either.
All right. Neither of the student. Well, no. That's, no. Yeah. I'm thinking.
Neither fulano.
Yeah.
Neither Panama. Whatever. Give me a sentence.
For example,
neither
Panama or Colombia.
Panama nor Colombia.
Yes.
Will face Iota, something like that.
Hurricane. So which one do you think is more important? The one that contains the neither or the one that contains the nor? So which one takes which one? That's what we're gonna do here. Okay.
For me, they are both the same.
But they coordinate. So to make you coordinate it here, you say Panama. So you have to here they are disjoint. But whenever you want to parse them, you have this one here, and then neither nor. But that is for grammatical analysis. You will see that here. Let's not run before we walk, because I need to show you here in the exercise. Okay, questions? No questions. Then we have conjunctive adverbs. So conjunctions that are also adverbs, and they say they are also called discourse markers because they give extra information. When you say besides, you see it means that I'm conjoining something. I'm giving you more information about my sentence, right? Furthermore, first, I would like to appreciate your attendance too, right? However, you see, these are discourse markers. And this is what we call what? Conjunctive adverb. They typically make comparison, contrast, or state, cause, effect, and sequence. Okay? Different from the previous one, said conjunctive adverbs do not have to introduce the second clause. And then you can move them to the beginning of the sentence, to the middle of the sentence, or at the end of the sentence. All right? Like, for example, do. Something that I realized quickly was how native speakers use the word do at the end. And you say like, he didn't bring the homework, do. You see, that is the way that native speakers say it. So if you want to be native, like you would have, and because in Spanish, we never say, él no traje la tarea, aunque. You see? In English, it's very common to have it right there. Questions? No questions.
A question
yeah.
there.
What is the question?
So that doesn't have a translation. Eh?
What doesn't have a translation?
The one that you were just mentioning.
Of course, it's aunque. Aunque él no trajo la tarea. Yo le puse la nota, aunque él no trajo la tarea. So I gave him the grade. He didn't do the homework though. But in English, it is permitted. In Spanish, it is not.
So it's gonna be a negative. How do we say that?
But you see, Ariel, this is exactly what I'm telling you. You see how am I explaining this and how am I comparing English with Spanish? This is exactly what I expect from you the day of the final exam, the project, okay? Your analysis, all right? To speak like this. You master that in Spanish, you master it in English, you're able to compare it, transfer what can be used. And here there is negative transfer because a gringo would say, oh, yo fui a la fiesta, no te vi, aunque. You see? In that case, it's negative transfer. Okay, and finally, it says, the difference, as now the difference between adverbs and pro-adverbs, that's what I was explaining. So is that adverb, this is confusing here, hold on. This is something that I added. Let's ignore this. This to explain about pro. This is not in the book. I'm gonna delete it. Okay. This is what we call pro adverb. But this is what we call pro forms. But I'm not gonna explain this because will confuse you right now. Okay. All right. All right. Questions? No questions.
A lot of questions, Professor. The thing is that we are like overwhelmed and we don't know how to start or where to start.
Oh, we will. Don't worry. We will. You will actually. I posted exercise 5, didn't
I? Yes.
Yes, you did.
We have to negotiate that, Professor.
Negotiate what?
Parsing the stuff. No, seriously, Professor, believe me. For the project, we don't have time. We don't have time to do that. We have to invest time into the project. Otherwise, we won't present on time.
Okay, give me 1 second, okay?
Mm-hmm. This is the time to speak, people. This is time. No me dejen solo.
I'm behind too.
You're right, Edwin. I mean, like, I'm so behind the project. I have nothing.
This is the time. This is time to speak.
Like what you're suggesting, we have to complete only the 25 and that's it.
This is like Ariel, like say something now or die. That's it.
Yeah, but we should agree on what are we going to say because we cannot start saying
like the proposal.
A possible proposal would be like, okay, let's complete the 25 fodder, the ones that are out of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Probably that would be a possible option.
I agree.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense those that are done already.
So the other day I was doing the sentences. I just received a notification. 50 more sentences for you to finish, and I was like, "You must be kidding me!"
Imagine one. We are really behind of all of this
pressure.
Jesus.
All right. All right. So let's start parsing this. Let me put this. No. Next class we will parse. Next class is class 5, right? Class 5. So we will parse exercise 6. Then on the 6th class we will parse exercise 7. And then in the afternoon session, no, I'm sorry. That afternoon session, Edwin, I will give you time for the project. Get it? I will give you time for the project. So for you to work in groups or in pairs, and you will work on your project. And then if you have to ask me questions, I'll be here. All right. Then the seventh class in the morning session, we have the we have the test, the last test, and we will start with the first presentations on the class number 7. And then class number 8, which is our last class, we have the full day of presentations. All right. Okay.
Not okay.
What do you?
No,
want?
I didn't get it. I didn't get it. Can you say
Okay,
that
don't worry,
again?
don't worry about that yet. Don't worry about that yet.
What? What do you mean, Professor? We haven't started yet. That's the problem.
Okay. Okay. Do you have a calendar? Get your calendar. Open your calendars in your computer.
Okay.
Can you see them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Edwin, grad live. When I say grad live, is graduate live. Graduate live means Juan. It means what? Master, right? In English. Graduate. A graduate student is a busy person. And believe me, like when I was, and also Juan, your father, asked him. When we were in graduate school, it was the whole week, every day to class. All right. The same thing. The same applies here. I took my first master here in Panama, and it was the same thing. I'm busy. I had 2, 3 jobs. I didn't have a family back then, but you see, still busy people. So our lives is busy. Academic life is busy. Okay, so you have here the 21st. The 21st is the the 5th class, right? The 28th is the 6th class. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Then we have the 5th, December the 5th. Here, okay, on November 28th, we will have class in the morning session. All right. The afternoon session of this class, you will work in groups, in pairs, in your pairs. All right. Get it? I will give you the afternoon session open for you to work on your project here with me. If you have questions, you will have full access to me. All right.
So by then we should have a draft.
Listen, on the 5th morning or afternoon, that depends on you, we will have the first test. Remember that you don't have to study for this. And in the afternoon session, we will start with presentations. Those of you who want to present quickly and finish this quickly, there are always students that would, like, I am one of those. So like, you know what, I want to get rid of this real quick. So I would present on the 5th. And then on the 12th, but remember something, that the written assignment is due on the 19th. So you have the 5th and the 12th. If you're lost, then you are in trouble. So here you need to read and research information about this. All right? That's all you take. In one day, you do this. Then compare and contrast troublesome elements and relationships in between. Troublesome elements, right? More like what can give problems to my students. But this is something that you infer, all right, from your teaching experience. If I'm teaching, for example, noun phrases, you say, well, they might get confused because if they don't know that adjectives, like just this morning, adverbs don't modify nouns, for example. So you cannot have an adverb plus a noun to make a noun phrase. You see, I'm making noun phrases. Then the transfer is just, well, if I teach this, can I rely myself on how we make noun phrases in Spanish and in English? And I say, yeah, because noun phrases are noun phrases. If I say, las chicas bonitas, the beautiful girls. That is positive, but it's also negative. What I say, if I say las chicas bonitas adjectives in Spanish are pluralized, and the determiner is pluralized, in English it is not. You see, I don't need to study too much for this. This is something that I know because you are experts. You see? And finally, what is your teaching approach? Here, you don't have to elaborate too much. You will say inductive, deductive. Here, here in the oral part, you don't need to elaborate on this. This is more for the second part. This is the second part as well. So what I'm trying to say is only this is your oral presentation. From the rest of this, you have until the 19th. You don't need more than a week for this.
How much?
Because you are just getting one content. One content. I'm not asking you to master English grammar. Do the exercise. Go online and find information about about phrases. And there's a lot of information. Besides, in this class, you already know what a noun phrase is. This modern verb book will help you a lot. Okay? So this is not so demanding, but what you need is to master English. You need to know grammar. If you don't know grammar, you cannot pass this course. All right?
Professor.
Yes.
How much time we have to in that day?
Oh, not much. We have to do the numbers, Melissa. I would like to have for next class. For next class, Melissa, I would like to have the sign up lists, like who's gonna go evenly distributed in 3 sessions of 2 hours. So meaning that you will not be able to speak too much.
5 minutes, Professor?
No, that's what I have to do now, because you guys have a lot. You are 29. So if you are 29, we're talking about 10 per session. We have 3 sessions. 10 per session. So we have 2 hours. I studied English, not math. So we'll have pretty much plus
20 minutes. Like 20 minutes.
20 minutes. 20 minutes. Yeah, because there are pairs. 20 minutes. But in fact, you will have 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I think from 10 to 15 minutes, you're fine. That you speak 5 minutes is a lot.
It's gonna be like 10 minutes, 5 each.
No less than 10 minutes. Whenever you get to 10, because remember you're 2. Even in that, one speaks 5, the other speaks 5, and that's it.
Excellent.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Not much, but those 5 minutes, but be careful. It's like, oh, estoy hecho, es poquito. No, but you have to condense all the things in those 5 minutes. Okay, all the important things that you need to tell me about noun phrases. I want them those exactly, and then you will compare them with Spanish. You will say this is going to be problematic for my students, because you start predicting the adjective position, because in Spanish you have the noun and the adjective, but in English you have the adjective and the noun. That is problematic. You see how I start developing more information about this? You get it?
Yes.
Yes.
There is another doubt that I have. You said that we are allowed to use, to do an library research, right?
No, but that's for your own purposes. Now, hold on, Evan. If you want to conduct a library research, that'd be super cool, because you can publish it. You see, it's not really like a library research per se, like you're going to make citations and all that. I don't want that.
Okay.
It's like a talk, like an explanation, but explanation, you will explain this to your master classmates and to your professor of the master program. Okay? Because I'm gonna make you question. And Samuel is gonna make you questions. Melissa is gonna make you questions. And Micah is gonna make questions to you. You see?
Juan, did you get it? I still don't get it.
What don't you get? What don't you get?
For example, talking about the previous course that we took, we were asked to make a position paper, right?
You mean the
No, no,
outline?
no, no. You
Edwin?
have to read again. Read what I just showed it to you. It's self-explanatory. Listen.
Professor,
This is
and what
not
happened with the
very important. Hold on. Very important. This is not a micro teaching. This is not a micro teaching.
Okay.
What you will do in the written paper is write your plan and give me your approach. That's it. You see? And then, but the meat, what I want is the meat, what you guys have. What you guys have to say.
Professor,
Yes?
we are going to share some information for a student, as if we are going to be a teacher, something like that, explaining a part of a speech.
Okay, I'm gonna put it easily. Remember what I just did with expletives?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes, Professor.
This is exactly what you have to do. Think about how I explained expletive. I say there are dummy. I compare them to Spanish. Remember? And I say
It's a lesson. It's a lesson.
Pretty much. But you see, and then and you ask me question and I tell you, wait. There can also be an adverb. You see, this is exactly what you have to say. You have to do that.
Then you are going to say, so please give me an example of this.
Of course.
In Spanish and in English.
You will do what I'm doing. That thing of the approach, leave it for the written paper. We don't have time for that. Okay? Because that is methodology. That is pedagogy. For the written paper, and for the written paper, you're going to have an extra week. Got it? Got it?
Yeah. Now I see.
More clear and possible.
Okay, still listen. Still start reading about your stuff. Melissa, for next class, I want the roster and the divisions of the students. All right? To know for example, on the 5th, how many students are going?
Professor.
On the 12th, how many students are going in the morning and how many students are going in the afternoon? All right?
Professor, I was wondering because I'm missing 2 students.
Who are those students?
I don't know who are them.
Well, listen, Melissa, don't worry about that. If they don't contact you, they got an F. You see, this
Okay.
We are not gonna be after students at this level. I don't even do it in the BA, in the bachelor. I'm not gonna do it in the master program. You see? So everyone is responsible for their own thing. They have to contact you. If they don't contact you, just live your life and be happy. All right?
Okay.
So for next class, I want to have it done. So the rest of you, please contact Melissa. Melissa is my contact. All right? Don't text me, text her.
Professor, I have a question related to the lesson plan for this project. Are you going to give us the lesson plan?
No, because lesson plans, all of them have things in common. Remember? Lesson plans have objectives. Lesson plans have content. The 3 stages, which is pre, while, and post. Assessment, evaluation. They are the same. Use the one that you use for regular teaching.
In high school?
But that is only for the written paper purposes.
Professor, in the when we are going to present our project orally, do we need to bring like PPTs to show?
Of course. You see, this is taking me forever. I spent like 3 hours typing that PowerPoint that I showed to you today, because back in the day I had the book, I read the book and I explained. But now I have to write all these PPTs. I have to type them because it's physical. So if I'm taking the time to do it, you will take the time to do it yourself. All right?
Yes.
All right? All right. Okay, let's do this. We have 20 minutes. Yeah, exactly. All right. So So Marco Polo might not have reached China on his Asian trip. So Marco Polo, what is
Professor,
it?
just to kid you,
Proper
a little
noun.
bit.
Proper noun.
I challenge you to do that in the way I do it. If you can do it in the time I did it today, I challenge.
But this is
Just to
why
kid you,
I
a
have
little bit.
ranked. Whenever you have ranked, you challenge me.
The time I did it.
Right?
Okay.
Okay, Marco Polo
Proper noun.
might
Model.
not is
Okay.
might
Model.
have have reached China.
Proper noun.
Proper noun on
Preposition.
in
Possessive.
noun adjective. Trip have Asia
Positional phrase.
no.
Noun phrase. Noun
His Asia trip.
verb
His Asia trip.
Noun phrase working as
No.
object of
Exactly. It's a
preposition.
noun phrase object.
Preposition on.
Object of preposition here. Now on
Prepositional.
Asia trip. What?
Prepositional phrase. Other
PP.
Other
Of what?
place.
Other of place. Okay. Reached what? China.
Noun.
China is what?
noun phrase.
Noun phrase. Noun phrase.
Direct object.
Direct object.
Noun phrase. Direct object. And here might not have reached. Okay. What is might?
Auxiliary.
Auxiliary have. So you mark it like this. This is out. All this is out. Okay?
Might not have is all auxiliary. All of them are auxiliaries.
Exactly. Because this is auxiliary and this is auxiliary and this is article that make constituents with it. Actually, see, might not make constituency with might. Remember,
Yeah, it's like they one constituent that's it.
Make constituent with
Professor.
reached. What is the form?
It's only one.
What? What? Past participle. And the perfect.
It's only one.
In syntax, triangle. This triangle means like, hey, we understand all this. We don't have to be.
So that
Here.
past condition. the MPP.
Not no. For example, this one, you will see something like this is, and you say noun phrase. You see, meaning like, hey, we understand this. Let's go for the myth. You see? But right now you don't. You have to do it. Okay, so there are several Democratic candidates at this point. There.
Subject.
Expletive. R.
Is verb B?
B. Several.
What about the
Figures of speech.
Several is pre-article.
Pre-article. Democratic.
Adjective, a noun adjective.
Candidate.
Noun, preposition, possessive pronoun. And noun could be?
This is a demonstrative.
It's demonstrative.
Demonstrative, sorry.
Noun.
So we have this.
I confused the right thing.
This point is what? This point?
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase.
Object of preposition.
Object of preposition. At this point?
Prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase. Adverb of time.
Adverb of time. Okay. Several Democratic candidates.
Direct object, noun phrase, direct object. No. That is
predicate
noun.
Predicate noun.
This is a noun phrase.
Yeah. Predicate noun.
This is a noun phrase. B, you know the rule.
Predicate
noun. Noun phrase.
No.
Functioning as predicate noun.
Professor, question.
Hold on. But then it's the noun phrase predicate noun, but at the same time, is the logical subject. Why? Because you say several Democratic candidates are at this point. So this is the logical subject. So are, this is what? The VP predicate. This is what? The status?
Of the verb.
The status is? Present.
Find it.
And there is what? Noun phrase.
Grammatical subject.
Grammatical subject.
Jesus.
Professor,
yes.
And several is a pre-article or a quantifier.
Oh, yeah. I did this on purpose. Very good. I did this. Democratic candidates is one noun phrase, seven. Yeah. Very good.
Professor, I did some things on purpose on the test, just to let you know.
but for that you need rank. Remember?
No.
To be able to do things on purpose, first you need rank.
That's unfair. Come on.
Life is not fair. Okay. Why?
It's a double-edged question, right?
Adverb. It's an adverb. How do you know it's an adverb? Because you rearrange the sentence. You say, school buildings sit empty most of the day because of the pandemic. So because of the pandemic replaces why. Get it? Get it?
Yeah.
Perfect. But here, so we have adverb, right? Adverb. Do.
Auxiliary.
Cool.
Noun.
Noun.
That's an adjective.
Noun adjective. Building.
Noun.
Sit.
It's a verb.
What is sit? Sit. What type of verb?
Transitive.
Intransitive.
Intransitive.
Empty.
Adjective.
Adjective. Most.
Pre-article. Most of. Pre-article.
Most of should be
Most of. Pre-article. The.
Definite.
determiner or definite article.
Definite article.
They.
Noun.
Noun. But we have to be careful. Remember when we arrange adverbs in normal position go here. This Y is not the subject, and it is not in the subject position either. So you have to be careful. So which one? So to know which one is the subject, what we do is what? We rearrange the sentence. We have to say, school buildings do sit empty most of the day because of this. So which one is the sub? Oh, let's start here. Most of the day. Day is what?
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase. Most of the day.
Another noun phrase.
It's another noun phrase. Empty. Oh, and this what? Most of the day is a what?
Prepositional phrase. Adverb of time.
It's a noun phrase. Adverb of time. Right? Most of the day. Adverb of frequency. What do you think?
After of time. Of
the time.
Frequency.
Frequency, right? I like frequency. Most of the day, adverb of frequency. Empty.
Okay.
Empty.
Adverb. It's an adverb.
Empty.
No.
That's an adjective.
Adjective.
What happened with the slot? I think it's not in the correct hierarchy.
Well, how do they sit? Empty. So it's an adverb.
Adverb. Of manner.
Yeah. How do they sit? Empty. So it qualifies the verb.
Like an adverb of manner.
The verb is an adverb.
Yes.
Adverb of manner. Very good. Okay. So you have adverb, adverb, adverb. So this adverb actually belongs here, right? So school buildings. Oh, sit. Sit.
Verb phrase.
Sit. What is sit?
BI. Verb phrase.
Present.
Present. Sit is present. Okay. Then we have school buildings. Oh, this is what? Verb first predicate sentence, right? So we have school buildings. School buildings is what?
Phrase.
Now,
Subject.
subject. This
Professor, what is an adverb of what? Of reason?
Whoa, 1 second, 1 second. What is this do? This
Professor,
do
what
belongs
is of
where?
reason? What?
That's an my goodness.
That goes in front of the verb.
To the verb.
The verb.
Exactly. This
Precedes the verb
it belongs here.
It's auxiliary to a part of the verb.
It belongs here. Do you mark it like this or down below? I think here is better. You have that. You say that this do goes here. Okay.
So in that case, it's not expletive.
It is an auxiliary and it's an expletive. But this do doesn't belong to the noun phrase. This do doesn't belong to the adverb either. Right? Think about it. This do, actually here, let me erase this here. Hold on. This do belongs here. This do is part of the verb, of the main verb phrase. So you mark it like this, all right? And the adverb, in English, we can have adverbs at the beginning, but in a regular position, you will have that this adverb goes here.
So this adverb would be here. Why? All right. Questions?
Yes, what kind of adverb it is in that case?
Why?
Of
So
reason.
we have to identify the constituent as an adverb placing the word question why at the end. So that is what we have to do at the end of the analysis structure.
You can leave it like this if you want to. Why?
Okay.
Because in English I can say, for example, I can say, let me give you an adverb. Sometimes I do my homework at night. I can start a sentence like that, can't I? I don't have to say I start my sentence. I do my sentence. I do my homework at night. Sometimes English permits it, but this do I care for this do. This do belongs here, and then you mark it. It is disjoint just because it has the function of the noun phrase. Okay. Question. Question.
So what you want is, okay, you don't need the position. We can play
Just mark this line. Yeah, with this line you say, hey, this goes. You rearrange it. But it's expletive because it has no content.
Okay, but
This is an auxiliary.
okay.
It's dummy. It's dummy.
Expletive. Expletive. Just one word at a time, please, because I'm confused.
If they do like that in the parsing, when we parse
it belongs here. It belongs here in this place.
All right.
You mark it here in this place.
Professor.
Okay, you will see why. You will see why when we start
the thing
making
the thing is, Professor, that I am not looking at the book. I'm trying to analyze the things
Oh
without looking at
yeah,
the answers.
perfect.
So I don't know what is in the book. And then when we finish here, then we see something on the book, but it's not maybe what you explain. And then when we do the exercises, we sometimes get confused because we get together and we say like, what is this? It's kind of different from what you mentioned.
All right,
so I want to be sure that you want it like this, okay?
I don't have the book either. That's the problem. Okay.
Okay.
The socks. Yes, there's a question.
Professor.
Yeah.
What about the MVP in this sentence?
Oh, MVP. What is the MVP?
Present.
Huh?
Present, but it's an interrogative.
It's the same.
Interrogative. Very good.
Okay.
Present interrogative.
So it is an MVP present interrogative. This is my question.
This is present interrogative.
Present.
The status present interrogative. Very good.
Now, the other question is why is an adverb? Yes, but adverb
of reason.
Of reason.
Because you're gonna give a reason because I can answer that with a clause because of the pandemic.
Okay, thank you.
I have a reason. Okay, the socks.
Professor Guillermo.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Professor, if two school buildings sit is the MB press interrogative, so the predicate is from do to today, because we are talking about a question.
No.
I don't understand the question. What is the question?
I mean, the BP predicate. The BP predicate.
Oh, this is part of the VP. Yeah, this is VP.
Everything.
No, not this. Because this in a regular position goes here. You see? This in the regular position doesn't belong. So
we don't have to write down the VP, the Y as a VP.
No, but that'd be nice if you do it, but because you understand that this is not part of the subject. This is part of the verb predicate. The same thing as do. This do goes here, but here you're marking it. Okay, the socks.
It's the proper noun.
Proper noun. Couldn't.
Negative modal.
Negative modal.
Negative modal.
Put.
Put
together.
It's a verb phrase, right? Put together one verb phrase. So put together what? A rally. A rally has been put together. Perfect. So it's VT.
This
one?
It's indefinite article. And
This
rally is a noun.
This one?
In preposition, the definite article. Fifth is cardinal number, right?
No.
Ordinal.
It's a noun. It's a noun. It has an article.
Yes. It's a noun.
It's a noun. All right. So we have the fifth is what?
Noun phrase of the preposition.
Noun phrase?
Object of the preposition.
Object of preposition. In the fifth.
Prepositional phrase.
Prepositional phrase a bit of time.
A bit of time. A rally.
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase, direct object. Okay. Couldn't put together.
Verb phrase.
This is what?
Auxiliary.
Auxiliary.
Yes.
And this is the verb in what?
Infinitive.
Infinitive. So the MVP is what?
Past.
Present conditional.
No, past. Past conditional.
Past conditional. And this is the noun phrase subject. Easy, right?
Yes.
Okay. This one is a little trickier, right? It's a little trickier. So we have fingernails are scrutinized by nutritionists for vitamin deficiencies. Fingernails is what?
Noun.
A noun.
Noun. This?
Verb B.
This?
Verb.
What is it?
No. Are scrutinized. That's a verb.
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Yes, it's a verb.
It's a verb. What type of verb?
VT.
It's a VT.
I know too.
It's a VT. It's a VT. Because why? Eliminate all this and you say fingernails
It's a VI.
are scrutinized by nutritionists for vitamins. No, wait.
It's a VI.
Listen.
You can say fingernails are scrutinized.
VI.
Exactly. Are scrutinized. And then an adverb here. Very good.
Yes.
Scrutinized. VI. Then this one.
Preposition.
This one.
Noun. Preposition. Noun as an adjective.
Noun adjective.
Noun.
Noun. So we have vitamin deficiencies. So this is what?
Noun
phrase object of the preposition.
Noun phrase object of preposition. For vitamin deficiencies, we have what?
TV.
Prepositional
phrase. Adverb. I don't know what.
They do this for this reason. They do this for this.
Is that a new advert, someone?
Then we have nutritionists.
Noun
phrase.
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase.
Preposition.
Noun phrase object of preposition.
And that is a prepositional phrase. Adverb of something.
Adverb of agency.
That's
Because this sentence is in passive. So if this is in passive, this is the object of the preposition, but at the same time, it is the
logical subject.
The logical subject.
Yes.
So you say object of preposition, logical subject. Because then you say nutritionists scrutinize fingernails. You see?
Yes, professor, there is a mistake on the book then, because
Why?
it says that it's a VT, and a VT are followed by direct objects. And in the
Very good.
explanation,
Only VT verbs can be made passive. Only VT verbs can be made passive, never intransitive verbs. But it looks like intransitive here
intransitive, yeah.
because it's in passive. But it's not. This is not an intransitive verb. Very good.
That's chapter one. That's chapter one.
Yes, but now we are now for the first time we are parsing. Now we are parsing
That's chapter one.
passive voice. That's why it's tricky. You see, that's why I told you this one is tricky. Okay, so R scrutinized is what?
Hold on.
This is what?
Hold on, then it is
this?
a VT then.
Is always passive voice will be VT.
Even though there is no direct object next to the verb.
Yeah, but remember what I told you at the beginning. Passive, the status is passive.
All right.
It's passive. And it's the only one that you have.
Then the
plus the past participle form of the verb.
Okay, I get it. Then by nutritionist stays like a prepositional phrase, adverb of something.
It's okay. By nutritionist, the by phrase is always the adverb of agency.
All right.
It's the agent. They are the agent. They are the ones that do things. Then you have are scrutinized. Are is what?
Are is an auxiliary.
Scrutinized.
It's a past participle.
Past participle, and then they make the status is what?
It's a present participle.
Present.
Present.
Passive.
No.
Present, yes. Present passive.
Passive.
Present passive.
Write it down, professor, please.
Present passive.
Passive. Okay.
Wait, yes, that passive?
Because the sentence, the whole sentence is passive voice.
What's that?
Because it says passive voice. That's the reason.
Now that's a new one. That one is present passive. That's a new
What
one.
does Morenberg say? I don't have the book with me.
According to him.
I'm being asking because I
check Morenberg. Check Morenberg.
Let me check. That is number 5.
Excess present passive.
Present passive.
Passive.
Okay. There you are.
Yes, but
there you are. Present passive. So this is VP predicate. This is sentence. This is noun.
Then I got a doubt. Remember that you mentioned that we only have four moods for the verb, right? Indicative, conditional, interrogative, imperative. Then that's a new one. Is that right?
No, that is not a model. That is not a model. That is the condition of the verb is passive. Models, you only have one.
So, Professor,
regarding if I say, for example, have you seen? In that case, is active. Have you seen is active? Interrogative. You see? Yes.
But fingernails. Fingernails isn't a grammatical subject.
Yes, sir. Noun phrase, grammatical subject. Very good.
Fingernails isn't it a grammatical subject?
So, Professor, what is?
Logical we should, I mean, logical subject, then we should
take into account in order to know that this is a present passive.
Be careful. And then by. Whenever I read by,
I would say
whenever I read by nutritionist, you say this is passive. The problem is that this can be eliminated. And I can say, fingernails are scrutinized for vitamin deficiencies. I can say that.
We never had this combination before. The verb be plus it.
We are introducing it now.
In the book, there is an example that Modenberg says that even if it is passive, will be
exactly. You have to read. Very good. Thank you. You have to read. You have to read.
Even if it is passive, it will keep the sense of PT. So
exactly. You can never have passive voice from intransitive. You can never have passive voice from linking.
Jose, and what happened
always from transitive verb?
Regarding the transitive verb have direct object, where is it?
Oh, never mind, because it's in passive. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, what is having the function is the adverb of agency in there. It's like
exactly. That is a way. Remember that the passive form is a way to reorder the transitive verb. See, it's a way that we speak. Usually in the news, in journals, when we want to omit the agent, when the agent is understood, see, is shared, the agent, or you just want people to say 6 people killed in San Francisco. You say, what? And I am from San Francisco. And then by COVID-19. You see? That's how they sell the papers. Get it? Okay, Marx Brothers. The Marx Brothers.
Proper noun.
Proper noun were
Be.
Funny.
Is adjective.
Progressive.
Conjunction adjective. Conjunction adjective.
Very good. Conjunction, very good. So this is different because here we have that and these ones create a exactly. This is a noun phrase. Have one big noun phrase. Okay? All right, sorry. Adjective phrase.
Adjective.
That's what I meant, adjective, you see, but you're not paying attention. Adjective phrase. And now it's consistent with the formula, right? With be. So be is what?
Past.
What is be? Past. And Max Brothers?
A noun phrase subject.
Very good. Very good. Here we have 2 sentences. Dutch New Amsterdam became English New York. Okay. This is what?
Proper noun.
This is what? Proper noun. Became?
BL.
Is, because you say is in English New York, right? English New York? I'm sorry, English?
Proper
English?
noun.
English?
It's a noun.
What is English?
It's a,
very good.
an adjective.
New York is proper noun. New York could be, no?
New York is a proper noun. Okay, so we have
Professor
English New York. Hold on. English New York is what?
It's a noun phrase.
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase.
Became English New York is what?
Okay, if it is linking, then that is a noun phrase.
Very good. Noun phrase?
Predicate
noun. And this here?
Verb phrase, predicate.
MVP pass.
And MVP pass.
MVP pass.
And Dutch New Amsterdam is the subject. It says, but remain. So which one is the verb here? I'm sorry. This is what?
But
conjunction. Conjunction. Then we have Dutch.
Broken is the proper. It's
proper noun and remain.
And remain is a BI.
Remained BI. So we have here that this is what? VP. This is a verb phrase, right? Verb phrase past.
MVP.
And then this but Dutch. This is what?
Subject, noun.
Noun phrase, subject.
Noun phrase, subject. Noun
And
phrase.
then in the remain, we only say verb phrase past. We don't say MVP and verb phrase predicate.
Past. Oh, VP predicate. No, this is the MVP.
So
MVP,
now it's MVP.
And this is the VP. You see, Samuel, pay attention, Samuel.
No, you did it on purpose. I understand, yeah.
Pay attention,
Professor.
Samuel. Yes.
I have a doubt. Sorry.
Yes.
Dutch is an adjective, and then New Amsterdam is the proper noun, or all of the proper
Dutch
noun.
is a proper noun. Dutch is a proper noun because it's capitalized.
Okay.
But Professor, Dutch is like on the book says an adjective, because if you see at the beginning of the sentence says Dutch New Amsterdam, and the second one that says Dutch Brooklyn. I don't know.
Well, we will have to debate here if Dutch is a proper noun or not. If you want to mark it as an adjective, it's fine. To me, Dutch Brooklyn is a proper noun. It's capitalized, and it's one specific Dutch Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Unless there is a semantic thing. Yeah, you're right. Because Dutch New Amsterdam, and then Dutch.
Because Dutch is related to.
It's giving like emphasis to Dutch. Could be an adjective, yes, because there is a force there. If you read the whole two sentences.
Professor, obviously. And then but is a conjunction, or I'm not clear about that one. But
is a
conjunction. No, yeah, but it's inside or outside the constituency.
You can leave it outside, but they always remain constituency with this last word. Okay, like here. You see, with this one, and with this one, it's the same. It's the same. All right. Okay, Homer and Marge Simpson. What is this?
Proper.
And their 3 kids. And what is this?
Conjunction.
And what is this?
Possessive.
Possessive. Pronoun. And this?
That is cardinal.
This is
cardinal.
Very good. Cardinal number and kids.
Noun. That is transitive.
Transitive.
That is noun.
This?
That is noun.
It's a noun because it has an article.
Yeah.
Yes.
The font. Adjectives don't take articles. So it's a noun. This?
Preposition.
This?
Noun.
This is what? A noun. That is functional, right? And you always will have, after a preposition, you will have a noun in a noun phrase. It's like when I say by then in the test. Then it's a noun. There is no room for anything else. Just like here. So you have this functional is what?
Noun phrase. Object of preposition.
Object
Noun phrase.
preposition.
In this functional?
Prepositional phrase. Manner.
I would say manner, right? How?
Yeah.
In this, where does it put it? Where in this functional? Place. Then you check with Morenberg there. The font. Put the font.
It's the direct object because it's transitive.
Direct object. Put the font.
VP present.
VP predicate, and this is the status is what? Present.
Yeah. That's what I'm checking.
Be careful. Be careful. It could be past. You see?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have 3 kids.
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase. their 3 kids.
Other noun phrase.
Noun phrase. And this and takes it here, you see? Marge Simpson is a noun phrase. So here you will make another noun phrase. And Homer. And this would make what? Noun phrase subject. All right? Great. Okay, number 9. Number 9. What is this?
One that's a determiner. Isn't it?
It is a determiner.
1/3.
That's a fractional number.
That's a fraction. A fraction.
Okay, so how do we mark it?
It's a periodical, no? Yes.
It's a periodical. This whole thing is a periodical.
One third of.
Yes. It's a periodical. American
proper noun.
No.
Noun.
Adjective.
Adjective. America is the noun. America. Unless you say Americans.
Yeah.
And households?
They're noun.
Noun. If you have an adjective, you have a noun. For sure.
No.
Okay. This one?
So it's the verb. Transitive.
Transitive. This one?
Determiner.
Noun. And adverb.
Adverb. So we have now. Now is what? Adverb of time.
Time.
The garbage. The garbage is what?
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase. Subject. Sort. The garbage now is what?
It's a verb phrase. Present.
And this is what? The status?
Present.
Present.
Phrase.
And then we have American households.
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase, object of the preposition. No, because that is a pre-article.
Very good. So this is what?
Noun phrase.
And noun phrase.
That's it.
And then 1/3 of American households is noun phrase subject. Okay, now we have a conjunction here. So, you see, it's giving more information. 40 million tons of garbage is recycled yearly. So what is this? What is this?
So it's a conjunction.
And this?
40 million tons of a periodical.
It has a noun. So that is
periodical.
A periodical. All this thing is a periodical. 40 million tons of is a periodical. Garbage.
Noun.
It's a noun.
This?
B.
This?
Recycled. It's a noun.
Adjective.
Verb. That's the BI.
BI. And this?
BI.
The adverb.
Adverb.
It's an adverb, yes.
Okay.
Can you repeat what was recycled?
No. I want you to tell me.
Oh.
But what about if they say that
yearly
tons of garbage is recycled by Americans yearly?
That's what I'm saying. So is it a VI or a VT?
So here it seems to be VI, but since it could be passive, should be VT.
Professor,
yes, it could be ambiguous. It could be ambiguous. Garbage is recycled yearly by someone. Someone recycles that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's transitive then.
What does Morenberg say?
Yeah.
It's transitive.
Professor, but the thing is the formula.
No. No, the thing that this is the problem here. This combination of these two, because this could be an adjective too, but in this case, I don't think it's an adjective. I think it's a past participle form of the verb, because it says is recycled by American households. Because this sentence and this sentence, they have a relationship. The only thing is like the agent, you will not repeat the agent because the agent was given in the first sentence. So what does Morenberg say?
It's a BT.
Yeah, Morenberg says that even though you have a past participle, what goes in front of it, if it is a be, it should be passive. I mean, what precedes the verb.
But what does he say? Is VI or VT? To me, it's VT.
Yeah, VT.
That one is BT.
So this is a VT. Okay.
If
So
it
it's
is passive.
recycled. Yearly is an adverb, right? So we have no problem with
Frequency.
that. So is recycled. Oh, recycled. What is recycled?
Recycle.
That's a present passive.
What is recycled?
Stated object.
What is recycled?
Adverb of frequency. No, BT. Yo estoy acá clearly.
Okay. So what is recycled?
Adjective. An adjective.
No,
Professor.
recycled is not.
Isn't it an
It's
adjective?
nothing. It's nothing.
The passive.
Exactly. Is the main verb. You see,
Oh,
is recycled. This is part
I
of the
got
main
confused
verb.
because you pull up.
No. You have to pay attention.
Yes,
You have to pay attention. So is recycled is what?
it's present passive.
Passive.
Present passive.
Passive. Passive.
And then 40 million tons of garbage
That's
is a
enough
noun
phrase.
phrase.
And then
Yes,
the
what?
yearly
Oh,
stands
yearly is
like
yearly. Yeah, yearly is another. It's another.
yeah, but
Which is part of the VP.
it stands in the same hierarchy as now in the first sentence. Garbage now, the same way.
Okay, yearly will go somewhere like here. Yearly.
Professor,
And
that one is a BT verb. That sentence.
Yes, because it's passive.
Yeah, because it's passive.
But
yeah.
you have to
But
be
now-
careful. The thing is like there is a relationship between this sentence and this sentence because it says so. Giving you more information about this sentence. Here they tell you the agent. In this one they omit the agent because the agent is understood, and that is something that. So whenever you have this combination, is plus past participle, be careful.
Professor.
But Professor, if I follow the rules about the verb transitive, it doesn't have any direct.
Yeah, because it's passive. The direct object, the direct. Oh, by the way, the direct. Okay, hold on. And then how about the logical subject and the grammatical subject?
I want to ask
the question.
Okay. Noun phrase, grammatical subject.
So
Here is
Professor,
not
wait,
grammatical subject.
wait, Professor. So it means that in that situation, I do not have to take care of the
Exactly.
I do not have to pay attention
Because
to it.
it's in
So
passive.
what is
Because it's in passive.
Page 98, page 99. Look for it.
My goodness, that is complicated.
Yeah, you have to. I agree with Jose Manuel.
Details.
No. Just have to. Oh yeah.
Wait. Go back a
Welcome
little bit because of the picture.
Grammarian's Live.
Yeah. Yes.
Got it? Perfect. Okay.
It
Now
looks
let's go
like a
to this
doctor's
one.
signature.
The tarot cards were set out by the fortune teller. So what is this?
Determinate article.
Definite article.
And this?
Noun.
Adjective.
Noun adjective.
This?
Car is a noun.
This?
This is the
B.
This?
That's another clear example. Another clear example.
Verb, yeah, but what type of verb?
That is transitive because it's in passive.
Very good.
That's
And Victor, check this out.
I got it.
By the fortune
where
teller.
is the by? My question is, where is the by in that sentence?
Which is this one?
Number 10.
No, because in order to make the passive, you don't necessarily need the by.
Yeah, it can
Exactly.
be omitted.
That's why you have to be careful. That's why
is an
you have to be
adjunct.
careful. Be careful.
Yes.
But it's giving you here. It's giving you the hint.
So it is
Why
easy.
this,
It is
put this conjunction adverb. You see, conjunctive adverb. You see.
It is really tricky, you know.
That's going to make.
Okay. So we have. So fortune. Okay. Oh, by the way, So this, what type of verb is this? Transitive. So set out is the verb. Set out. This?
Preposition.
Preposition.
This?
Definite article.
This?
Fortune teller is
Noun.
This is a compound noun.
okay.
Fortune teller is a compound noun.
Compound
You have the fortune teller, which is what?
The
Phrase,
noun
object,
phrase,
preposition.
Now jump for your preposition, then by the fortune teller.
the prepositional phrase, adverb of agency.
Prepositional phrase, adverb of agency. If this is an adverb of agency, what is a fortune teller? Object of
That's
preposition and
logical.
and the logical
Logical
subject. Logical subject as well.
That you mentioned before.
Where set out? What is this?
Auxiliary.
And this?
Auxiliary.
What is this?
That is a past participle.
Past participle form.
Participle.
And then the MVP status is?
Past verb.
Past passive.
Past passive.
Past passive.
Past
Yeah, past passive.
You see.
Oh
It's not
my.
And then we have
tricky.
tarot cards, noun phrase, and the tarot cards, noun phrase, subject.
Subject.
And that is the
Victor.
grammatical.
I'm here, Professor.
Victor, now you
Lot
understand
of
why I
detail.
told you you have to do well on the first test.
Well,
So you want
Professor,
to
let me tell you
kill us
something
in
that
this
I
one.
really do not know what I will get on the first test, so that's why I'm really worried. And this coming week, I will make a call
Because
to you.
this,
I
the
want
other
you
now
to
we're
please
adding
answer.
more and more information, right?
The thing
Yes,
is
of
that
But the
course.
good thing
And
is
even
you're
though,
learning. Listen, the good thing is you're learning. You're getting a different
yes,
perspective, and that you have to practice
Professor,
a lot.
Professor, that is a good point that you mentioned something important. I'm learning. I'm talking about me. I'm learning really, really new things because it's the first time that I'm just checking all those amazing things about the sentence, right? But to be honest, I'm going to be really honest to you. Right now,
You're
here in my
overwhelmed. No,
position, I just want you to tell